Yeah, pretty good.
God, well, you first, right?
Yeah, me first.
Yeah, you first.
Me first.
What happens if you F around? You find out! What happens if you F around? You find out! Damn straight. Let's go.
Cut the music. Good afternoon, brothers and sisters! We got to get our cadence right. Ready? Hell no! 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 On your own now. Hell no! Good afternoon. I'm Brian Renfroe. I'm the president of the National Association of Letter Carriers. Thank you all for being here. They said they can't hear me. What about now? Thank you all for being here. On behalf of the 295,000 members of the National Association of Letter Carriers, welcome. Just last week, in our building across the street, we had a kickoff event of a campaign we called Fight Like Hell. And as it turns out, it looks like our timing was pretty good. Now, we've all seen reports over the last few days of the president's intention to take executive action to dismantle the Postal Service. And we are all here to send a strong message. And what is that message? Hell no! Again. Hell no! Again. Hell no! Again. These reports say this would include getting rid of the Board of Governors, moving the Postal Service under control of the Commerce Department of all places, and destruction of the independent agency that serves everyone in this country that we all love. What do we say? So let's be very clear about what this is. A direct attack on the 640,000 dedicated people that work at the Postal Service, on the service that we provide, and on the hundreds of millions of Americans that rely on the service we provide every single day. Apparently, the White House doesn't recognize or understand what they are jeopardizing. Every day, over 200,000 members of our union and hundreds of thousands of members of the other postal unions serve the people of this country. We provide a constitutionally mandated universal service. Every day, we deliver 376 million pieces of mail to 169 million addresses in this country. And our work that we do every day is a massive part of the economy in this country. It is the centerpiece of a $1.9 trillion per year industry. So what does that mean? Do you know that what we do every day and throughout the course of every year, we deliver half of the world's mail? And guess what? The private companies that are more than likely behind a lot of this have no interest in delivering 376 million pieces of mail to 169 million addresses. Without the work that we do, 51 million rural households and businesses in this country would have no guaranteed postal delivery service. Now, beyond that, think about what we deliver to those households. Medications, paychecks, ballots, and other essential mail and packages. So what do we say to cutting delivery to rural Americans? Hell no! This executive order would threaten the job of every single postal employee. You know what's among postal employees? 73,000 veterans that served our country in changed uniforms to continue their service. There are also nearly 8 million jobs in this country, of which the Postal Service is a centerpiece. It threatens their livelihoods. Now, maybe we shouldn't be too surprised by this. Look at what we've seen over the last 30 days. I think it's very clear this administration has no interest in protecting public service, working people, or really the public good. They want to throw us away and create an unreliable, inefficient, expensive private delivery service. And what do we say to that? Hell no! So these ideas are, of course, dangerous. They're anti-worker. You could say they're anti-American. You know what else they are? Illegal. It's very clear that this White House does not understand what created the Postal Service. So let's give them a little history lesson. In 1970, the United States Congress passed a bill called the Postal Reorganization Act. That happened after brave postal employees all across the country went on a wildcat strike that started with letter carriers in Branch 36 in New York City. And we got a lot of folks from New York here today. The Postal Service is also in the Constitution. But you know what else? The Postal Service is older than the United States of America. And if changes are to be made to the Postal Service, that Constitution requires those changes be made in Congress, in the building right here behind us. That law in 1970 took the Postal Service out of the hands of the administrative branch and put it into the hands of the people through their elected representatives in Congress. So to this illegal action, what do we say? Hell no! Let's make one thing clear. A lot of things in this world are about politics today. This is not about politics. One commonality that really spans the political spectrum. People rely on, support, and love their Postal Service. No matter how someone voted in this past November's election, whether they voted for President Trump, Vice President Harris, or they voted for the Democratic candidate in their Senate race, Republican candidate, and on down the ballot, what they did not vote for is destruction of America's public postal service. So to those in the White House that are trying to destroy the Postal Service, once again, what do we say? Hell no! The public has consistently ranked the Postal Service as the most trusted federal agency, the most beloved federal agency, even more than the National Park Service, and we love the National Park Service. Why is that? Because Americans know they can count on their letter carriers and other postal employees to deliver for them. So today, standing with so many supporters, we want to send a strong message once again. And what is that message?
Hell no!
And what about when they try to continue to threaten our jobs?
Hell no!
And cut service to those that live in rural communities?
Hell no!
And this word, privatize the Postal Service?
Hell no!
And when they try to knock us down and, quote, restructure the Postal Service? Hell no! Hell no! Hell no! Hell no! Hell no! Hell no! So this afternoon we are joined by many other postal employees, our brothers and sisters in the labor movement, members of our communities. We're going to give you the opportunity to hear from a few of them. Now, I'm going to be upfront about this. We are on Capitol Hill, and we didn't invite a whole long line of members of Congress to come speak, because this is not really so much about Congress as it is about us and Americans. However, we got a few. And I'm going to start with one that has been a champion for letter carriers, for the Postal Service, for federal employees, and for the American people for a long, long time. And it's my honor and privilege to introduce, from the great state of Virginia, right across the river here, the ranking member of the House Committee on Oversight and Reform, Congressman Gerry Connolly. I appreciate you being here. Gotta hold that trigger.
Come on, Gerry! How are you?
Thank you. You know, I'm listening to everybody say hell no. And Eric and I work in a place where there are too many people who say heck, I don't know. They need to hear loud and clear one more time. Hell no! We're not going to privatize the Postal Service.
Hell no!
Can you imagine if we privatized the Postal Service, how expensive a letter would be?
Hell no!
How difficult remote rural parts of America would find it to get mail packages, medical supplies. During COVID, the American people realized how much they rely on you. The country was completely upset. We couldn't go to work. We couldn't go to school. We couldn't go to our favorite restaurant. We couldn't shop properly. But there was one constant. Every day, at the same time, every day, that postman or postwoman would come by my house and deliver packages, medicine, food, clothing, and mail. And the whole
Actually, I just saw Congressman Sorensen.
No, that's fine. I ain't in a hurry. You are. Don't mess with the Postal Service. You know, the idea that it would go in the Commerce Secretary, I don't think this Commerce Secretary knows how to put a stamp on a letter. It was mentioned that the Postal Service predates the founding of our country, and that's true. Yes. And as you know, the man who did it was Benjamin Franklin. And he believed in two things, accessibility and affordability. And that has been the hallmark of Postal Service ever since. For 250 years, you have served this country ably and well. And the American people appreciate it. That's why you are at 72% approval rating. Hell, Congress is at 13%. Most of those are relatives and staff. That means you're doing something really important. Irrespective of political identification, American people understand the criticality of the Postal Service in their lives, and they're not going assure those Republicans especially here, hell no.
Hell no! Hell no! Hell no! Hell no! Hell no! Hell no! Hell no!
Hell no.
Thank you for coming. Gerry! Gerry! Thank you, Congressman. In this country, we have a long history of solidarity in the labor movement. And that solidarity is stronger today than it's ever been before. You see a lot of union leaders up here with me. And even those that are not here, countless ones have reached out over the last few days to offer their support and solidarity here in Washington, D.C., as well as many of you have experienced around the country. And we are honored and privileged today to have one of the leaders of the labor movement in this country, my brother, the Secretary-Treasurer of the AFL-CIO, Fred Redmond.
Hell no!
Hell no!
Hell no!
Hell no!
You know, look, I just want to take a second to recognize some of the great labor leaders who are out here. And as Brian said, a lot of them couldn't make it, but they wanted you to know that we stand with you in solidarity. But here today we have, besides a great leader, President Renfroe, we also have President Mark Dimondstein with us. We have my good friend, President of the Transportation Workers Union, John Costa, is here with us today. Claude Cummings from the Communication Workers of America is here with us today. And we have President Regan from the Transportation Trades Department that's here today. Thanks, Regan. We also have President Madden that's here with us today.
who? You would do Sorensen?
We have Sara Nelson from the Flight Attendants CWA. Look, as the Congressman stated, for 250 years, you have provided vital and necessary services to the American people. 250 years. You are the longest federal agency in existence. And that's right. And I want all of my postal workers, brothers and sisters to know, this has nothing to do with your performance. This has nothing to do with you as workers. You provide the highest level of service to the American people. This is about an unmitigating consolidation of power by this administration, power to put more money and more resources in the hands of the billionaires as opposed to spreading the wealth amongst the people who create the wealth every day. That's what this is about.
And we say hell no!
Hell no!
Hell no!
Hell no!
Hell no! Hell no! Hell no! Hell no! Hell no! Hell no!
Hell no! And I just wanted you to know that the 63 national unions, the 15 million members of the AFL-CIO, we stand with you in solidarity. We stand with you in the courtrooms. We're going to stand with you in the streets. We're going to stand with you in the halls of Congress because we, as working people, as a strong labor movement, we're going to fight for you the way that you have fought for the American people over the years. Getting their medication, making sure that people got their paycheck on time. So brothers and sisters, you are not alone. We stand with
Our postal unions work together closely on all kinds of topics, but I assure you there will never be any issue we work together more closely on than fighting those that try to destroy our postal service. And we are honored today to be joined by my brother, the president of the American Postal Workers Union, Brother Mark Dimondstein.
U.S. mail!
For sale!
U.S. mail!
Not for sale!
U.S. mail!
Not for sale!
Postal worker family, union family, and our American family. Here we are at the cusp of the 250th, this July, 250th anniversary of the United States Postal Service. 1 year older than the country itself. And here we are facing happy birthday, Postal Service, happy anniversary, an administration that says your anniversary present is to kill you. Your anniversary present is to dismantle and break up this wonderful national treasure that doesn't belong to the billionaires and doesn't belong to one person that wants to be king. It belongs to who? It belongs to the people. Our message, our 200,000 members stand with all of the NALC members and all the postal workers and union members. We move the mail, we run the retail, we sort the mail, we move the transportation with the trucks, we maintain the buildings and equipment and the IT. And our message to the American people is postal workers, and you know this as well as anybody, are fully dedicated to the people of the country and the mission that we're so proud of to carry out day in and day out. But we cannot provide, and this is very similar to what's happening to our government, federal brothers and sisters, where these oligarchs are hollowing out the services to the people of the country. What we have going on in front of our eyes is literally a coup, a hostile takeover of government services that the people of the country desperately need, and postal services are part of that. And we cannot carry out that mission to the people of the country if this postal service is broken up, is dismantled, is privatized, and rather than a service to the people of the country, becomes whether some fat cat can make a quick buck and laugh all the way to the bank. So what do we say to the billionaires who want to take over the post office?
Hell no!
What do we say to this administration that wants to take over the post office?
Hell no!
And we say to U.S. mail,
Not for sale!
mail,
Not for sale!
carry on, solidarity forever.
Thank you, Brother Dimondstein. Hell no! Hell no! Hell no! Hell no! Hell no! Next, it's my pleasure to introduce Greg Regan. He's the president of the Transportation Trades Department at the AFL-CIO, representing unions all across the transportation sector. A large portion of that transportation sector relies on the United States Postal Service. Welcome, President Regan.
All right. Make them hear you up there. Hell no.
Hell no! Hell no! Hell no! Hell no! Hell no! Hell no!
If there's one thing we've seen from this group of people that come in, the Doge fuckers, if you will. They're trying to dismantle institutions. They're trying to dismantle the fabric of our society. The Postal Service is front and center in all of that. We see it in the FAA. We see it in the Federal Transit Administration. All across the world, transportation workers know how vital federal civil servants are to their ability to do their job safely and effectively. They're undermining those very institutions that make sure that everybody in this country can get to where they go safely.
they're undermining the ability for people to receive their medicine. But as much as they try to gut our institutions, and they're going to try to gut our agencies, there is one institution in American life that they have no effect over, and that's the American labor movement. Together, all of us standing up, our ability to have our voices heard, to show solidarity, to protect all of our brothers and sisters in the civil service, and all of the work they do to keep us safe and keep us moving. We are going to fight with you every step of the way, because your fight is all of our fight. And I'm really proud to be here, and I look forward to this fight because we're right. We are on the right side of history. And we will not let them undermine our institutions, and we the people are the ones who are going to prevent that from happening. Let's go out there and fight like hell!
Fight like hell! Fight like hell! Fight like hell! Fight like hell! Fight like hell! Fight like hell! Fight like hell! Fight like hell! We're also pleased to be joined by my brother Claude Cummings, the president of the Communications Workers of America. CWA does important work all over this country that keeps our nation connected. Brother Cummings.
Thank you.
Fight like hell! Fight like hell! Fight like hell!
Fight like hell! Fight like hell! Fight like hell! Fight like hell!
Hey, brothers and sisters, my name is Claude Cummings. I'm the International President of the Communication Workers of America. I want to thank President Renfroe for allowing me to be here to say a few words, and I want to thank all of you. Northern and Southern. That's one thing that the American people have been able to count on for hundreds of years. That no matter where they live in this country, they have reliable mail service, and it's thanks to all of you for your hard work and your
mentioned earlier, the Postal Service is one of the largest employers of veterans in this country. Currently, 73,000 Postal Service employees are veterans. So today we are joined by a brother that does a lot of great work for veterans, particularly veterans that work like most of us in the union space. So please join me in welcoming the Executive Director of the Union's Veterans Council, Will Attig.
Are we fired up? Yeah! Are we fired up to stop this attack on the United States of America? Yeah! I see a lot of red shirts out there. If you're a veteran or you work with a veteran in the Postal Service, please raise your hand. Yeah! I would love for the cameras to take a look at that. Hold them up real quick. Look at that. Are we not the most patriotic fucking people in this country? Yeah! I couldn't let Greg get the only F-bomb in. This is personal to me. My grandfather came home and joined the Air Force right after World War II. He also joined the United States Postal Service. His name was Sarge. He didn't get just called Sarge because he was a sergeant major in the Air Force. It was because he was a Sarge at his local letter carriers. He was a rural letter carrier. He woke up every day and prepared for work just like he did when he was in the military. The pride he had in that service is something that's undeniable. And it is disgusting to me to see these jackasses put his service on the line. We're not going to stand for that, are we? But there's even more dire issues than just getting up here and yell and scream. There's so many ways that this impacts our community. The vast majority of veterans medicine gets delivered through U.S. mail in an affordable way for the government. How much do you think Jeff Bezos is going to charge us to give medicine to our veterans to make sure they stay alive? A bunch, right? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And this is not the time to let some billionaire, unelected billionaire, come in and destroy these systems. It's not. As we said earlier, 20% of the workforce in the Postal Service are veterans, right? We make sure through programs to make sure our veterans have stable, good employment in the United States. That's the check they sign. When these people wrap themselves in the flag and say USA, USA, and then cuts the legs out from underneath our veterans, what are we going to do? Say hell? Hell no! 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 Now, I truly believe what's happening right now is the greatest attack on the United States that we've seen in our history. We've never seen it, maybe since the Canadians came down there a while back, but we like the Canadians now. So it's important that we all band together. And I get thanked for my service all the time, and I think this is a message that I want to relay to so many people, is you don't have to wear a uniform to defend this democratic systems and the democracy that we have. This has been an experiment. This has been an experiment to give people a voice in the electoral process in our systems since the beginning of this country. And this is an enshrined process. It's in the Constitution, and we've got to fight like hell to stop it. So I want one more chant. This isn't a chant that we usually say at our rallies, but I want these folks to hear it. Because again, raise your hand if you're a veteran or if you know a veteran that you work with. They fought for America. And I want to have one chant because they need to hear who we are, the patriotic Americans. So follow me. USA! 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 Woo!
Thank you, Will. Now, as all of you know, a lot of people use the Postal Service around this country for different reasons. So we're going to hear from someone now whose work 100% depends on the Postal Service. Lucy Madden is the CEO of Letters to Pre-Scientists, an organization that uses the mail to facilitate connections and conversations from students with scientists, so they can explore and plan and be motivated for their futures. And
we thought it was important to hear about something like this and how it could potentially affect the great work that her organization does. Please welcome Lucy Madden.
Good afternoon. I'm honored to be here today to talk to you about a different type of letters that you all really help us deliver, and tell you about what you, letter carriers, have enabled my small nonprofit to accomplish. Letters to a Pre-Scientist is a snail mail pen pal program connecting middle schoolers in low-income communities across the U.S. with people who work in science, technology, engineering, and math, or STEM fields. Our program works everywhere because every community has a post office. Over the past decade, USPS has delivered over 120,000 pieces of mail for us. Yeah! Connecting over 15,000 middle schoolers in 15 states and 1 U.S. territory with mentors across the world. Using USPS keeps our costs low and makes sure that no one gets left out. It means we can work with students in rural Iowa at the same cost as students in Los Angeles and as students who live in a small community in Louisiana that is only accessible by ferry. And these connections can transform lives. They expand students' worldviews and reinvigorate professionals in their work. They inspire students to explore options for their future and build their confidence. After exchanging letters throughout his school year with a mentor, students have said that they are more interested in everything from the tiny bacteria that live everywhere, to baseball games, to insects, to cherry blossoms, crocheting, rockets, jazz, coding, college, making an ant farm, and much, much more. One teacher said, "I could not duplicate the variety of locations and scientists represented without the Pen Pal program. This opens windows that my students would never otherwise experience." I'll leave you with one quote from a 6th grader in Illinois, describing how letters delivered by USPS inspired her. "Before writing to my pen pal, I thought scientists were boring. After writing to my pen pal, I think scientists might be a good job for me and might be fun." These connections would not be possible without USPS. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucy. Lucy! Everybody loves Lucy. Thank you, Lucy. And what an inspiring story. We are also honored to be joined by a number of different unions, including one today that represents many workers that entertain us. So please help me welcome the Vice President of the American Guild of Musical Artists, Andrew Stenson.
Good afternoon, everyone! I'm Andrew Stenson. I'm the Soloist Vice President at AGMA, the American Guild of Musical Artists. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to represent our nearly 7,000 singers, dancers, staging staff, and faculty staff and instructors in opera, choral performance, and dance who stand in solidarity with all the letter carriers in the United States. This threat to the United States Postal Service is deeply personal to me. I come from a family of proud union teachers. Every opportunity I've had in my life was made possible by my parents' union jobs, and I know firsthand why it's better in a union. My partner comes from a long line of USPS workers. Her late great-uncle was a mail clerk. Her cousin is a mail carrier. Her mother retired after 13 years as a mail carrier, and most impressively, her grandfather, John, spent his 32-year career with the USPS, supporting a family of 8 and serving in 2 wars. performed as an opera singer around the world and across the U.S., including right here in Washington, D.C. But that success was only possible because it was built on the foundation of union work. Likewise, my partner is completing her law degree at Georgetown Law thanks to generations of opportunity provided by union jobs at the United States Postal Service. We both learned the importance of hard work from our union upbringings. We benefited from the security and advantages gained through union work and how union membership will fulfill the promise of the American dream. Now the White House wants to dismantle our American dream to further theirs. Right. Today, we're here for the 640,000 USPS workers, including 73,000 veterans, because once again, the White House wants to circumvent Congress and our democracy to politicize and privatize a public service that every American depends on. Hell no! Isn't just a service, it's a lifeline for working people powered by union labor, not billionaire greed. Postal workers keep this country running, delivering for every community, no matter the zip code. We stand with the union workers of the USPS because America runs on labor, not luxury. And to the White House, we say, hell no! 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 Hell no to dismantling the Postal Service. Thank you very much. Thank you, Andrew. Next, we have a long-time sister and ally of letter carriers. A lot of you know her. She joined us just a couple of weeks ago over at our building for the kickoff event we had for this campaign. And she's a fireball. And she's probably going to use worse words than you've been chanting. So please join me in welcoming my friend, our sister, Association of Flight Attendants President Sara Nelson.
We count
which no union has had to fight and fight like hell since day one of this administration, more than the American Federation of Government Employees. So our brothers and sisters that are right down the street down here that represent federal employees battle, and we battle together. And today we are pleased to be joined by Vice President of AFGE, Brother Ottis Johnson.
All right. AFGE,
Good afternoon to my letter carrier sisters and brothers. I am Ottis Johnson Jr., the National Vice President of AFGE District 14.
With two T's.
With two T's. We cover DC, Maryland, Virginia, and all of Europe. So yes, we have letter carriers in Europe that we cover as well.
All right.
In the AFGE, we know a thing or two about what you're going through right now. For decades, the U.S. Postal Service has been ground zero for corporate America's attempt to destroy and privatize good government. Now, in 2025, these billionaires and corporations are attempting to deliver a death blow. But we at AFGE stand with you, NALC. AFGE represents over 800,000 DC and federal government workers. And we put the full strength of our organization behind you postal workers and letter carriers throughout the United States. To everyone here today who may not be from NALC or AFGE, I want you to hear me loud and clear. Our fight is your fight. It should be clear to everyone by now that President Musk and Vice President Trump did I say that right? You did. Are pillaging public services in hopes of then handing them over to the highest corporate bidder. Hell, we already saw Elon and Tesla get a cozy $400 million contract from the department. That's right. Many public services like the Postal Service were created precisely because corporations wouldn't deliver vital services to those who needed it most. If it isn't profitable, private companies won't do it. Getting rid of the U.S. Postal Service will hurt working people and rural Americans the most. If we let the Postal Service fall, I promise you that it will be a domino leading to the destruction of many other agencies. This means that our veterans' care is on the line here today. Our environment is on the line here today. Our Social Security is on the line here today. Our Medicaid is online here today. Our national security is online here today. Stand with NALC brothers and sisters. Stand with working people. Fight back against the corporate takeover of our great nation. AFGE stands with you.